This black Rubik's Cube goes into a paper bag and comes out solved. This one solves itself mid-air, and this guy solves one with his mouth. Today, we're counting down 5 of the greatest Rubik's Cube magic tricks, and revealing exactly how they work. Coming in at number 5, we have the bag trick, where John puts a black cube into the bag, then a mix of colored stickers. Then after making the bag have a seizure, reveals a solved cube. So how did he do it? Well, there's another cube in the bag, but it's not what you think it is. Because if it was a normal cube, you'd see a second cube after he rips open the bag. But if you look at the solved cube closely, you'll notice the grooves around the left side look a bit thicker than the others. And he also tries to hide it right after. That's because it's actually just a shell, which in this case is like a thin box with a lid that looks like a solved cube. So all he had to do was pour the stickers into the shell and put the cube in before shutting the lid and revealing the shell at the end. And at number 4, we have Maddox, who gives a judge a Rubik's Cube behind her back to turn and eventually solve. But how is this possible? Well, first, the cube doesn't look scrambled properly. So to make sure, I copied all the colors of the cube he showed onto a program, and it told me the cube was only 4 moves from being solved. And when I held the cube in the same way as him, you'll notice you can solve the cube one-handed by doing these moves, which is exactly what he does when he gives the cube. But after the judge turns it behind her back, how is the cube still solved? Well, when showing the judge how to turn the cube, notice how he's turning the whole cube and not individual sides, which means she's just spinning around an already solved cube behind her back. But the audience doesn't see this, so they think she's actually turned and solved it. But at number 3, how does Maddox instantly solve his cube? Well, some people think he copied another trick where you set up a fake cube with 3 scrambled sides and flip it over to show the other 3. But at the end, he throws the cube up, clearly showing more than 3 sides, because he instead shows all the sides except the one at the back. Well, if you rewind the clip to this part here, do you see a color missing? Well, it turns out there's only 1 white sticker on the whole cube. Not enough to solve one side. But if you keep tracking the white sticker until just before the cube is solved, it ends up here, which means the other 5 sides he's covering with his hands are already solved. So he just needs to throw it up in the air and catch it with the fake side out of view. And at number 2, Raimon puts a Rubik's Cube into his mouth, and after doing whatever this is, solves it. He then shows there's nothing else in his mouth and demonstrates it's a normal cube. But because the cube is so small, I had no idea how he did it. So then I looked up another video of him doing the same trick, and because this one had a close-up, I found a big clue. He's once again showing all sides except he's covering what's meant to be the white side with his left hand. And he does the same thing on the original video, but it's much harder to see. And if you check the cube beforehand, you'll also notice a corner with 2 red stickers, which is impossible on a normal cube. And just before, you'll see him have only 1 side shown, just like what Maddox did, meaning that he just has to flip it around in his mouth, then cover the fake side when revealing the cube. But before we get to number 1, here's a bonus. This guy puts a scrambled cube into the bag, then asks the judge to name a random color, then takes the cube out and reveals that her color has disappeared off all sides of the cube except the bottom. But what's the secret? Well, later on, he just reveals there's another picture cube in the bag for a different trick, but nothing else. But then I checked the scrambled cube and noticed yet again there's a color missing, which is blue. And because at the end, he shows the cube does have the usual 9 blue stickers to make up one side, this basically confirms at the start, the hidden side is all blue. But the judge picked green and could have picked any one of 6 colors. So why does this matter? Well, at the end of the trick, he showed all the colors of the cube, meaning that you can copy all of the colors to your own Rubik's Cube, and realize you can solve the blue side in just 2 moves. And with one more move, perfectly match the colors on the cube he had before the trick. And from here, you'll realize every color can be solved in just 3 moves or less. But since the judge picked green, he can solve it in 2 moves, and does an extra one before revealing it. But at number 1, Maddox once again does a similar trick. But he never sees the chosen color, he gets a judge to scramble the cube instead, and there's no bag to hide his moves. Yet somehow in the hands of another judge, repeats the same trick. So how did he do this? Well, when he shows how to pick a color, he puts yellow on top, which I think he does on purpose because it makes the judge more likely to pick the face farthest from yellow, white. Because as you saw from previous tricks, it's less obvious when white is missing from the cube. But even if that didn't work, I think it's likely he has something in the cube to transmit information to him through vibrations, but we don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is how he got white all on one side, because when he gets the cube from the other judge, if you pause here, the white side is already just 2 moves away from being solved. And while he secretly does a few moves to get there, I do think he got lucky with the judge's scramble. And he even does another move to make it look more scrambled before showing it to the judges again. Then, as we've seen before, does a few moves to get all white on one side, while he demonstrates with his other hand how to hold the cube. Meaning, when he gives the cube back to the judge, you can already see there's no white on these sides, meaning it's all already on the bottom face. So from here, he puts on a cloth, pretends to do magic when in reality he does absolutely nothing and just reveals what he has set up all along. Anyway, that's about it. Check out this video for more.